Hello and welcome to Dev Diary Breakdown of CK3, that is Crusader Kings III, and today we are going to dive into the newest Dev Diary, that is Dev Diary number 43, and this one, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty exciting. So first of all, within this Dev Diary, there's an announcement for the 1.2 patch, which they're hoping to get out before the end of the year. But the content of the 1.2 patch is what we're all interested in, so let's get into it. This Dev Diary is about creating your own ruler. They're calling it a ruler of your own. So let's start reading. Hello everyone, and welcome to the 43rd CK3 Dev Diary. I'm Matthew, one of the programmers on the CK3 team, and today I'm going to talk to you about my little baby from over the past while, the much anticipated ruler designer. So I know that some people were expecting this at launch, or hoping for it rather, and it was pushed back beyond launch because they wanted to get it right, I think. As promised during our lead-up to release, the Ruler Designer will be a free feature, so everyone can dive into creating their own wonderful or monstrous custom character. To create a custom character, you must select the play/customize any ruler option in the front end, and then pick the realm you want to replace the ruler up. So, what this means is you can now, well not now, but as soon as 1.2 comes out, you will be able to first customize your ruler, and then just drop them into the world, it sounds like. So the customization of the ruler comes first. Selecting which faction you play as comes second. And here's how they're gonna change the the new game screen. So as it is now, you can click as play as any ruler in 1066 or in the other start date. And now they have this second option down below called Create Your Own. And here's a little screenshot of the starting date for the Holy Roman Empire in the 1066 start date, the starting situation, right? And now you have this second option, or this extra button down here that says Create Your Own Ruler, and you don't have to play as the rulers that they have set up now for you anymore. So yeah, they're just showing you where this button is going to be when 1.2 launches. So without further ado, here's what you'll be greeted with when you open up the Ruler Designer. That's pretty neat. Look at this. So there are a whole bunch of options we have. Just get a better look at the image here. So you have pretty much everything going on. First, you start with the gender and the sexual orientation, faith, culture, character name. And you can randomize the name in line with whatever their religion or culture is. That's why those things come first, I guess, so that the AI or the system knows what to randomize for. And then you can name your dynasty here. You can also randomize it with a dice roll, it looks like, as well. You can with sexual orientation as well. You cannot dice roll the culture or the faith, though, it looks like. You have to pick one, and then you pick the realm here. And then you have a pool of points, it looks like. So in order, and they're going to get into this a little bit down into the Dev Diary, but achievements are, of course, something to think about. So it's not like, it would not be proper, of course, to get an achievement if you created some OP starting ruler that has massively good stats, right? So they're going to put a cap on the amount of awesomeness you can put into your character at start. Of course, you can go over that limit, I think, if you don't want achievements on. So no Iron Man mode, no achievements. You can make the most OP, powerful ruler you want at the beginning, I think. But if you want achievements, and I only play on Iron Man mode on this channel, and so I will probably be mostly interested in creating a character within the limits here. So we have customization points, and these go into age. So most likely, the younger you are, the more points it costs, because a younger ruler is better. Weight, I'm not sure how that factors in, but I know it affects your health. And you get some traits here. You see you have the 1 star, I forget what this is called, but for the intrigue lifestyle, this is only 10% advancement, because it's only 1 star here, though I do forget what this is called. And you can add some personality traits and other traits. Now here are the stats. All of these are poor, right? 5, 5, 5 across the board, except for a couple 2 to intrigue, because this must be her lifestyle focus, although I don't see that option here. Maybe you pick that here, the education trait, because that always determines your lifestyle, or the lifestyle that you can get the XP bonus for anyway. So it's to be seen how these points will factor into all of these. Now, the most obvious point allocation is for skills and traits. But age, I think, weight, and probably the amount of heirs you have will also factor into that. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. And then you have down here, it will tell you if you were within the threshold to still get achievements or not, you know, if your ruler's too OP. So let's keep reading. Okay, I'll go through it step by step as to how you can set up your custom ruler. The left-hand side deals with your base choices. Okay, I just went over this. First of all, on the top side, we've got being able to pick your sex and sexual orientation from the options that appear in the game. Yeah, we just went over this little screen, so we'll keep going. From there, you can pick up a culture and faith. They default to those of the character you are replacing, but you can open up a collapsible list of culture groups and religions which contain their cultures and faiths. So this sounds like you could just you could drop, like, you know, a Jewish Han Chinese dude into Italy or something. I'm not sure if that's a wise decision, but I think you can do that. You could replace, like, you know, the Count of Genoa with such a character, I guess. I'm not sure. Right, so let's take a look at this image. Okay, so here's the Collapsible Faith. So you can, of course, so you click this button here, and then you'll get this collapsible list of faiths. And you can be any kind of Christian, it appears, but I think you can be any faith. I mean, that would make sense, as the goal here is really customization. So here's a look at that drop down as it is. Let's keep reading. In the lower left side, you can enter your first name and dynasty name, or randomize it based on your culture, or, if religious names exist, your faith. You can also randomize your dynasty and realm coat of arms. Okay, so the coat of arms, I guess in this image here, here's a custom coat of arms beneath the von Regenstein name. So, and then there's another dice roller here, so you can randomize what your coat of arms looks like, and they'll talk more about the coat of arms further down in the dev diary. Okay, to ensure we could release ruler designers in a timely fashion and offer a deep visual cosmetic system for your characters, we took the decision to not spend time on a custom coat of arms designer. Right, so I'm guessing, I mean, this is probably not going out on too much of a limb here, but there will probably be a custom coat of arms designer in the near future, but they wanted to just completely focus everything on the character customization tool, and that's the right choice. That is definitely the right thing to be doing here, because we want a solid character customization tool, and we want a solid coat of arms designer tool. So, you know, we're willing to wait for quality versions of both of these things. So let's keep reading. I know this will be a disappointment to some of you. It is to us as well, but we wanted to prioritize giving you all a functional and fun ruler designer for the core aspects first, as I just said. We currently support randomizing the coat of arms instead. The randomization rules obey our normal coat of arms generation rules, so it will be filled with emblems and designs fitting of your faith, culture, and title. For the CK3 ruler designer, we decided to move away from the restrictions imposed by the CK2 design, as we felt it highly limited your ability to make that custom character that you wanted, and wanted a free and open approach. Right, this is why I'm speculating you can make like a Jewish Han Chinese Duke of Italy or some such thing. This was, I mean, good luck playing as that character, surrounded by people who think you're evil, but yeah. This was something the community also felt, as various ruler designer unlock mods for CK2 were consistently popular downloads, right? Players, especially in this sort of sandboxy environment, really like customization, freedom, openness. All of these various options will definitely enhance the game in a lot of players' eyes. To that end, the points themselves are not a hard limit to your customization. You can exceed them as you wish, as I said. But doing so will disallow getting achievements if you would otherwise be able to do so, right? So I was able to sort of glean that from the images, and they're confirming it here. But as long as you stay under and obey the other requirements to get achievements, then you can play with your custom character in achievement runs. Fantastic, and I'll probably look forward to doing that. So here's a little look at the customization points as they're spent. So the 67-year-old probably will spare you some achievement points. Looks like there's a lot left to spend here. Now, Intricate Web Weaver. So, okay, so I know that this is the top tier trait for the Intrigue lifestyle, Intricate Web Weaver, Temperate is a good trait. So okay, so the good like personal traits and the top education trait will cost you 40 points each, and then they are tiered. You know how good they are. So Wise Man is a good trait, gives you +1 learning, but it's only really good if you're Jewish because it's counted as a virtue, for example. So that only costs you 20 points, and I think that's interesting. So we will be able to see more. Does this character have 12s across the board? It still has all of these points to spend. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is a cool sneak preview of what we can expect. Okay, next you can choose your age and character weight. These not only affect the visuals of your character, but also have mechanical impact on the traits you can choose and the health of your character. So I'm guessing that the healthier you are, the more points it costs. I wonder if they've worked that out. Of course, when we then move on to the ever-important trait selection, clicking on one of the trait slots opens up a menu showing the various traits in that category, such as education or personality traits. Every trait has an associated cost in points. Though again, there is no hard limit on what you can pick, except for mechanical limitations like no childhood traits on adults. Pick 2 traits that are opposites of each other. So they do have some restrictions. You cannot have completely contradictory traits, I suppose. Although I have seen that. I think I've had like compassionate and wrathful characters, that sort of thing. I don't know how strict that limit is. We'll see how they do it. Okay, and here's another picture of amateurish plotter. That's what it's called. Okay, so here's another picture of sort of allocated points, and here we see a character with good intrigue, below average everything else, but with still a bunch of points to spend. Okay, picture of trait picker with various traits selected. Actually, let's take another look here. So all of these are the lifestyle traits. So you have intrigue, diplomacy, steward, martial, and diplomacy. And so it goes up by tiers. So you have 4 tiers of education traits anyway in the game, and they go up by 20. So it's 0. You can spend 0 points to get the base 1-star lifestyle trait. But you can spend 20, then 40, then it doubles again to 80 to get the tier 4. Okay, you can also modify your character's base stats if you want that little extra boost in intrigue without wanting to compromise the personality you've built for your character. Increasing your prowess will also increase your physical muscle mass so you can show off your gym gains. That's cool. I do like the idea of having your traits being reflected in your physical appearance. That's definitely cool. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some people have real Chadley runs, and I've seen some people have some runs with some pretty messed up rulers as well. Okay, and finally, in the bottom right, we have the family selection, which lets you decide whether you create a character to start married or with some children. If you do, then your children will look like you, and your spouse, if they exist, should just like they would in normal gameplay. Cool. It doesn't say here if being married and granting you heirs off the bat costs points. It does not say that. Okay, speaking of which, no custom character will be complete without the ability to customize the appearance of your new ruler. Alright, I think this is the part that a lot of people are looking forward to. When you click the Change Appearance button, you are first presented with the ethnicity selection screen. Picking an ethnicity here will randomize within the predefined guidelines of that ethnicity. It doesn't limit any further customization, it just provides the basis. So let's open this up and take a better look. So we have this list here of ethnicities. Now, this isn't something that's typically highlighted in your character. They go by culture instead. And I've also noticed that, any character can adopt any culture given the proper circumstances. So culture is not tied to ethnicity. Religion is not tied to ethnicities. I don't think anything in the game is particularly tied to ethnicity except for your appearance here. So we have a list of ethnicities that they've included in the game, and one bone I've had with launch is that all Asian ethnicities look the same. Which, if I'm being frank and honest, I think that there's got to be a DLC, an expansion pack on the horizon when it comes to the East in this game, the eastern part of the map, because it's just not really acceptable having the Turks, the Mongols, and the Chinese, and the Burmese, all looking the same. I hope they fix that soon. That was a bit of a tangent, though, so let's get back to the dev diary. So we have West African, Arabic, Asian, West Central African, Northern. I guess that just means Viking, Scandinavian, Arctic. Maybe that means Viking, Scandinavian. I don't know. East African, North Indian, South Indian, Mediterranean, Slavic. All right, so I mean, like 5 of these are European, basically. So I do hope they have a bit more variety when it comes to the other ethnicities, especially from the Turks on East. They need to fix that one. But this is a cool base for your appearance, you know. So if you want to be French or Frankish, you can set West Central European if you want to look like that. And of course, you don't have to look like that. With the emphasis on openness and freedom, you can look however you want, presumably. Okay, customizing further gets you to the real meat of the portrait creation process. We've got over 90 individual genes spread over 7 anatomical groupings to customize your portrait. That's pretty cool. So the way that the game manifests how people look is with a gene system and an anatomical grouping system that I guess interplay together to get the look of your character, which is a really cool way of doing it. Ranging from height and skin color to your lip definition and profile, the nose tip detail, and the depth of the eye corner. So safe to say, a lot of options to choose from when customizing your character. Very nice. Let's take a look at this image. So we have a bit, you can modify the skin color here, you can modify the body fat, height, weight, bust size, different skin complexions. Wow, so there are a lot of options here. Body, head and neck, ears, facial structure, eyes, nose, mouth, hairstyle, beard. And then another cool feature I notice here is we can copy the code of your character. Copy the DNA, paste the DNA so that you can share your character, you can keep it, you can save it so that you don't lose it in the future in the form of a code that you can, copy and paste later to your heart's delight. Let's take a look at this image too. This is more the face here. So this is what happens when you click on the facial structure tab. The previous one is the body tab here. This is the facial structure tab. And yeah, there are a ton of options. Cheek definition, cheek fat, cheek forward. So this is pretty much as involved as any RPG character creation screen, which CK3 players, given their love of sandboxes and customization, should be thrilled with. This is really cool stuff. Looking forward to trying it out, definitely. Look at all these options. Chin forward, chin height, chin width. I mean, you could mess around with this for hours, as you can in various RPG character makers. Okay, so let's keep going. The various sliders allow for customizing the strength of the gene, which ranges from meaning size to intensity depending on the gene. Some of these options come with specific templates as well. They do a modification in a more binary sense, such as changing from having a straight nose profile or a hawked one. Okay, another image to look at. Now, this is just the nose tab, so that we can't see the exact tab, but we can speculate that it's the nose tab, this one here. So yeah, they have 2 options currently, straight or hawk. Here's a hawk nose. Oh no, well, this says straight. Oh, it kind of looks like a hawk nose. But anyway, just to give you an idea, I mean, just the nose has a ton of options. Ah, here's the hawk nose. Right, so this is a straight nose, and this is the hawk nose. I guess you can't really tell the difference. There it is. Very nice. Okay, let's keep going. One can also pick from a variety of hair and beard, if male, stylings as well. You can, of course, pick your hair color, though we do have a limited palette, as I was sad to find I couldn't make my self-insert character quite as ginger as I am in real life, though to be fair, nothing is quite that orange. Alright, well, we get a little example of what's his name? Matthew? Yeah, what Matthew looks like. Matthew is ginger. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so they have a bunch of hairstyles. Got the Roman fade going on. That's what he looks like. Bowl. Yeah, a lot of hairstyles. Presumably they have a few different beard styles to choose from as well. Very cool stuff. Let's keep going. I think the easiest way to demonstrate it, however, is a clip of me creating doing a few edits to a character to demonstrate some of the types of changes you can do. You can morph the face to look very different from your randomized baseline if you want to, but for this video, I kept it to just a few edits. Okay, so let's take a look at the video. I like the cleft chin. Whoa, that's ginger. Okay, very cool. So yeah, that's just an example of somebody playing with it. You can also copy and paste character DNA, so you can share it with your friends and the community to make a particularly awesome or absolutely cursed looking character. As a fun tidbit, this works even if you change the sex of your character. Nice. Yeah, so I already pointed this out, the copy and paste DNA buttons. And once you're finally done with making your new ruler, you hit finalize, and away we go into the game with our custom new ruler. Let's take a look at the finalize page. Okay, finalize your created character. Once you submit, you cannot undo this change. Are you sure you are ready to submit? Yes. Alright, so here we have this custom character, Kaiser Magnus of the Holy Roman Empire. They've inserted the custom character into the game, and he is the Holy Roman Empire of House Cleve. Very cool. Very cool. All of this is usable in multiplayer as well, so you and your friends can create custom rulers and multiplayer games together. As I said at the beginning of this dev diary, the ruler designer will be a free feature in the upcoming 1.2 patch. We are not ready to give an exact release date at this time, but the aim is for it to be out before the end of the year. So that is within the next 6 weeks, and should be soon. Very much on the horizon. I hope this has got you excited for creating your own ruler. And then we get into the next final section of the dev diary, making the sausage feature. I thought it would be a fun to detail a little bit the process I went through of making a full feature from scratch, to show the various things that go into it from our perspective, because making games is an otherwise weirdly secretive process these days compared to the creation of other media like movies, television, or music. He's right about that. They do guard their secrets in this industry, that is for sure. To start off, a lot of estimations and scoping of the feature were done by the team. Very important work, but also not particularly interesting screenshots-wise, so I'm going to skip over it and get to when I started doing the implementation. Needless to say, all of the images are of older versions with my beautiful placeholder art. Thankfully, our artist came in and pedaled it all up to the current version. First of all, I just wanted a window that showed you some character, and when you clicked a button, it made the character. Start with everything being random like traits, names, and portraits was fine. Once I had that going, I could then start exposing more things to the interface to be modified. I did the left side of the screen first, as it makes up the section that doesn't cost points to change the name and culture. To change like name and culture selection. From there, I set up the layout of the right side of the screen, though I left that to fill out later as part of another task that I wanted to spend time getting the portrait customization working. Adding in all the portrait editing was where a good chunk of time was spent. Compared to CK2, our portraits were a lot more complex, so just having a few options per category would not work. Instead, we wanted full sliders for controlling the exact intensity of various genes. And we can see that in the final build. We have so many sliders now for so many different things, even like dimpled chins and the like. Some genes were also mirror of each other, like ear size positive and ear size negative. To make sure they were not two separate sliders or buttons, I added in logic, so combine them into one slider with the midpoint being 0 for both, and then scaling the intensity from there. Yes, this is definitely... Whoa. That is a oddly proportioned face. This one looks a bit better. This portrait editing led to some bugs. Wow, here's a bug for sure. It led to some bugs to fix, such as some vaguely skeleton-looking characters missing most of their face from being rendered. Nice. After getting all the portrait options set up and working, it was then on to the final stage of being able to customize your age, traits, and family generation. Thankfully, our code was already set up nicely, so every character is generated through the same code path, so changing these base values was already unified, so it was mostly a matter of tying the UI into doing this in a neat way. The UI looks good. Compared to some other Paradox games, the UI in CK3 is quite good. Okay, this led to some fun issues, which I used the wrong UI box type, and the traits section could grow to be huge if you added too many. Yeah, I can see how that would be a problem. The points now actually mattering meant I needed to fix up our achievement settings to check for that, to make sure our characters were known if they came from the ruler designer or not. With our portraits editable and traits pickable, it was then time to make sure that picking a trait which changes the portrait would also show up in a game. I had to rework how the traits were handled for this because the base portrait modifier system wants a character, and in the ruler design we don't actually have a real character, we just have a bunch of raw components needed to make one when we finalize. Adding this in the game gave me some absolutely cursed portraits when stacking all the visual illness traits. Do not open unless you're okay with some gross looking portraits. Let's open it. Yep. That's a pretty messed up person. What a leper. One leg, I can't see the leg or not. But anyway, this looks like an unhealthy individual. All sickness trait image. So you have all the sicknesses, this one person. Okay. Finally, it was a matter of tidying up some things, fixing a few bugs, and adding the last bits of polish to the UI feel. Art had been going through once I had got the core features done, and we're making the UI to look good and remove all my placeholders. After all of that and some QA testing for me to fix those last bugs, so much fun with fixing multiplayer issues, we were all done. I hope this unveiled a bit about how making a feature happens. It was very high level, and I avoided the nitty-gritty details of it, but I think it could be illuminating to see the work and various stages of development that go into making a brand new feature. Okay, so that wraps up this dev diary. It's really broken into two sections. First, you just have the straight content of it. Then you have a little bit of a personal message from Matthew here, who has clearly worked very hard on this and is quite proud of his work, and he should be proud of his work. So thank you, Matthew, and to the entire CK3 team for putting out this patch that's coming soon. And I'm sure a lot of people do appreciate that little glimpse into the development process. I, for one, I'm pretty excited for the ruler creation tool because it allows for more customization, some more fun scenario options. You can drop yourself into all sorts of weird situations with the various customization options that will make for some unique run-throughs and gameplay. But I want to know what you think, so please leave a comment down below. Hit that like button, hit that bell notification button to catch the newest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next Dev Diary. Bye-bye.